When you want to adopt your spouse's child, one of the important things to remember and to deal with is whether or not the other parent, the father or the mother of the child, depending on who's doing the adopting, is willing to consent to that adoption. If the other parent is not willing to consent to the adoption, then you're going to have to go through a termination of parental rights process. That can take quite some time and can be very difficult in Alabama. If the other parents had any involvement with the child, it's not likely that the court is going to terminate that parent's rights. However, if the other parent is willing to consent, or the other parent's rights have been terminated, or the other parent has disappeared off the face of the planet, the court may make you attempt to serve that step-parent, or that former parent, by publication or by certified mail or in some other form or fashion. Then after 30 days, once 30 days has expired from the date that either the publication has run or they have received that certified mail, the court is free to go ahead with what we call step-parent adoption. However, the court has to also know that from the time of the filing until the time that we get to court, that it's been at least 60 days. So that what happens when you do a step-parent adoption is you go to speak with your attorney, you make a decision on what role did this other parent play, then you decide how best to make sure they have notice, if you even know where they are. Then you file the documents and you run the service either through the newspaper or you do the service by certified mail, or sometimes we use a process server. The court's going to issue what's called an interlocutory order, which is just a temporary order that gives you, as the step-parent, the ability to make some decisions for the child during that time frame when we're waiting for a court hearing. And then eventually we go to a court hearing. With a step-parent or close relative adoption, there is no home study requirement, so you don't have to get that taken care of ahead of time. And DHR will generally decline to having any kind of involvement in that process. So ultimately, if the other parent is either fallen off the face of the planet or is willing to consent, it can be a fairly simple and short process.